I can't hear you.
How about now?
Yep, now I can.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Look like we got Alec hopping on there as well. Let's see here. It's 11:01. Let's say give it a minute or two to see if we have anybody else shaking on the call, and we'll go ahead and get started, guys. You know what'll be cool is I actually got some statistics from home office. I'm not sure if you guys got to see them or if anyone shared them with you yet. So I'll be able to go over that with you guys today. There we go. And while we're waiting to see if anyone else is going to slide in here, I'm going to pull up the information so it's ready to go. That would be, what is the, nice. Okay. Well, if you guys are ready to go, I'm just going to go ahead and kick it off here. And then if you guys have a pen and paper, there'll be a couple things maybe you want to jot down, some numbers and stuff I might hit on for you. Yep, for sure. Definitely take your time. Make sure you got a good pen. And what I did when I got started is I got them around here, even more of them, but I have hardback notebooks. So they're actually like, hardback notebook, because those legal pads, those yellow legal pads, the front pages end up all ripping off of them by the end, and even like a spiral, like a soft notebook, that thing ends up ripping off over time. I've had hardback notebooks for the last, I have one from 2008, from the first meeting that I ever did with this company. I still have notes from that meeting, so if you get a hardback notebook, you'll never lose a note typically, unless you lose your notebook, which I've misplaced mine a few times. I literally was like very concerned because I had like 2 years of notes in one of these notebooks and I misplaced it. So, but I ended up finding it. But anyways, here, this one's full. This is another one I'm using right now. This is my brand new one. It's nice. They got these little things in them. You just put them on what page you're working on. Okay. All right. So anyways, they say note takers are money makers. So the people that, take the notes, you'll see that those are the ones that are typically, excelling in business. A lot of times I'll see someone take notes, and the more notes that they take, the more success that they have. The less notes that they take, the less success that they have. But anyways, what we want to do today is I want to share just a couple pointers, some tips and tricks, techniques, just real quick on, ways to get through what we're getting through right now, which is we should all be in a situation where we're getting through our licensing. So some of us might have just enrolled into our licensing process, or, maybe you're halfway through or all the way through it, but you're at some stage of the game. So, when I got hired, when I got into the industry, this was back in 2005. I was actually a real estate agent, and I switched careers. I jumped into become a financial advisor. And the first thing I had to do is I had to get licensed. So I got licensed as Series 7, Series 66. So I had my stockbrokers and all that, but I also had to get my life accident health. So I had to get my life insurance license. And I was so excited to be a financial advisor and manage people's money. So I kept calling the guy that hired me, my mentor, my boss, my coach, whatever you want to call him. He was, the company called him my field vice president. In your situation in our company, that would be like your general manager, right? You have a general manager that you're typically going to be working with, which would be Geo or Vince, or Josh or Casey or Drew, or one of those individuals. Right now would be some people that would be your general manager. But I kept asking him questions about the career, and he kept reminding me that nothing really matters until you get your license. He's like, I could spend all day teaching you everything you need to know about the business, but until you get your license, none of the business stuff matters. It would actually be a waste of our time, and probably would even start putting information into your head where we should have information to get your license. Like, you don't want to clog your mind with unnecessary information at this point. So what we want to do is right now, what I need to do is just get all the information that's on this course, that's in this book, and just fill my head up with it, and then go into the test and just kind of spit it all back out on the test before it starts leaking out over time. Because if it takes you 30 days to get through this course, by the time you get to the final chapter, you're going to forget everything you learned in the first chapter or two. So they say the magic number is 10 days. If you can get through the whole entire course in 10 days and schedule your test after, you don't have to take your test within 10 days. But if you get through the course in a 10-day period, the chances of passing it are a lot higher. They're high. Once you hit the 10-day mark, it typically starts going down at that point, the longer that you take to get through your course. So knowing that information, you definitely want to kind of set yourself on a good study schedule in order to make sure that gets accomplished. And on top of that, who wants to drag it along any longer than it really needs to be anyways? Unless you really love studying and taking tests, okay? Which if you do, salute to you. God bless you. Me, I don't really hate much. I love everything. I love everybody. You know what I mean? But one thing that I do hate is I hate studying and I hate taking tests. I'll be honest with you. So for me, it's painful. And if you know something's going to be painful, you don't want to drag that along any longer than it needs to be, right? So same thing, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. Just rip that Band-Aid off and get it over with, right? You don't want to drag it on any longer than it needs to be. So that's how you want to treat this whole thing. Just get in and get out, because the stuff that you're going to learn here is necessary for you to pass the test. Okay. I'll tell you, 75% of the stuff you're never even going to need to know in this business to make you successful. It's just protocol. It's like laws and things of that nature. So when you take a look at the coursework and all that, you want to get through it as quick as possible. And a couple of tips on it. So the glossary, which is like the actual vocabulary words, if you can learn those words and what they mean, it'll help you a lot on the test, because you'll know what it's an A, B, C, D multiple choice test. So if you know what A is called is saying something, you'll know what A means, and you'll be able to eliminate A, because you'll know that has nothing to do with the question being answered. So it helped me, because some of these, I passed my test, guys, the very first time I took it. Do you guys know what you have to score on your state exam to pass?
Isn't it a 70% or higher?
70% or higher. You got it, right? If you get a 99% or you get a 70%, do you know the difference is? There is no difference. You're going to get the same exact certificate, right? Do you know what they call the doctor that graduated at the top of the class, right? and then the doctor that graduated at the bottom of the class. Do you know what they call it? Do you know what they call that? They call them both doctors, right? So you just got to get your license. You got to pass this test. I promise you this. I wonder if I can find a way to dig this information out, because I really want to show somebody this to prove to them this is not a story. It's a story, but it's a real story. I took my test the first time and I passed it with, get this, a 70%. 70%. I was one answer away from failing the test, right? And I tell you, a couple of those questions, it came down to like, all right, I know it's not A and I know it's not D. It's got to be B or C. I don't know. Let's just, and I just close my eyes and pick one, right? That's how a couple of them happened for me on that test, just so you know. But I would have never been to B and C if I didn't eliminate A and D. And I would have never eliminated A and D if I didn't know what those words meant. And I would have never known what those words meant if I didn't study the glossary. So what I recommend to do is to go through the vocabulary words, the glossary, whatever they call that, where they have all the words and the definitions, okay? And I would make index cards, okay? So you take a pen and you write on one side of the index card, annuity, right? And then on the back side, you flip it over and you put the definition and you write it out, and then when you're sitting there, you can study them, and you could read the definition and say, I want, that's an annuity. And you could flip it over and see if you're right. Or you could pull up the word annuity and then say the definition and flip it over and see if you're right. But I'll promise you this, you're going to learn those words more by making the cards than using the cards. The process of making those flashcards, the process of writing something down, right? It makes it stick to your head like 10 times more than just sitting there and listening to it, right? So you're going to write all those out. And by the time you write them out, that's going to teach you them in itself. Then you can use that. You could have your friend just hold up flashcards for you and be like, yep, you're right. You put all the ones that you get right on this side and all the ones you get wrong on this side. And then, these are the ones you need to work on more, right? So flashcards is a good thing to do. The practice exams. If you score at 80% or more 2 times in a row on the practice exam, you should be primed to just go in there and knock the real state exam out. So those are some pointers on that. Yes.
So the state exam is easier than the practice exams?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that's the truth or not. But what I do know is if you scored 80% on that, then you should be good.
Okay.
They have people that work at this, the course that you're using, STC or Excel, whatever course you're on. They have people that go to the testing center and take the test regularly, and then they report back so that they keep up, because they changed the questions on them, so they try and keep up the practice exams that you use, are trying as best as they can to have as much reflection of what's going to be on the state exam, but so, supposedly that they're equally as hard or even harder. So that's good, but yeah, at the end, there's that final practice exam. So that's the one they say, take that twice, score an 80%, and you should be really good to go.
Yeah, I'm scheduled for Monday for my test, and I've been taking like the practice exams like over and over again. But it's like the questions are pretty much all the same. So you almost memorize the answer to the questions rather than the like whole thing itself. So that's why I was curious if it was like as easy as that is or harder.
Yeah. Definitely don't try and memorize the answers.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. It just seems to be what happened. I'm like, oh, I remember this from last time. I remember this one from last time.
So my advice to that would be, that's good, because that means you studied a lot, And what you do now is you just go back and you got to ask yourself, well, why is that the answer? And then, you know, now you could explain it, right? So that's good. Other tips on the test, you know, just I would schedule it in the morning if you could, or you know, what time's your test scheduled for?
I did 12:30.
12:30. Okay.
Yeah, because I know like I'm most productive like noon to 2 a.m. or I mean 2 p.m. Right now, my daughter's starting school this year, so it's gonna shift a little bit more. So
Yeah.
right now, my most productive time is like early afternoon to afternoon.
Yeah. I would just suggest to try and get it in as early in the day as possible, just because later in the day, now you have a whole bunch of stuff that just happened that could be, who knows, in
Yeah,
there, taking some of that space up. You know, we need to have all our brain power, you know, going into this thing right now. You know, they say that if you take a little caffeine before a test or something, it triggers your mind to think and work a little bit faster. But there's such thing as too much caffeine. Okay, so you don't want to go on too crazy. You want to be actually smart with your caffeine intake on test days. You know, and even the night before. Cramming is one way to go about it, but if you could control your environment, you would probably not want to be in a situation where you're cramming the night before. You want to be in a situation where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go watch a movie. You know, I'm gonna go for a walk. You know, I'm gonna go to dinner and relax and have a glass of wine and, you know, watch a movie. Not 20 glasses of wine. You don't want to be out, at the club till 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, at the bar, shutting the bar down the night before your test. That's not wise, smart. You did all this time, invested it to get all the way this far. You know, we didn't come this far just to come this far, right? We got to close it out now. So, but you know, those are just some days of the test. You know, don't test on an empty stomach, obviously, but don't eat a big meal before you go in there and, you know, slam down, you know, a triple stack cheeseburger and a bunch of French fries and a milkshake before the test either, right? So be smart about everything that you're doing on that day. Fuel your body, you know, and everything. But you know, other than that, I think we covered on some good test taking stuff and ways to get through the course. I'm just thinking if there's any other, you know, things that help me out and pointers. And, you know, all I know is that my mentor told me this. He said, all you need to worry about, because I kept asking him questions. I'm like, hey, if I get a client and they have $1 million, what are we going to do with it? Are we going to put it in stocks? Are we going to invest it? What are we going to do? He's like, slow down. Okay. You know, right now you only need to worry about two things. Okay. You need to study and pass. The only two things you need to worry about. And I was like, all right, I got you. I'm going to study, I'm going to pass, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to ask you the same question. So, but yeah, so that was a big thing that just allowed me to just focus and put the first thing first. You want to put the cart before the horse. But now we get the license and you guys are, you passed your test. So let's say Monday, right now, we pass our test. Okay. All right. Let me pull up the screen over here. So Monday we pass our test. What's going to happen next? You guys might have a pretty good idea, but I'll break it down for you. You're going to take your test scores and you're going to send those to the state of Illinois. And they're going to have to approve or send you your license, right? So you apply for your license now. And in order to apply for your license, but also you send your test scores. They may ask for fingerprints depending on what state you're in. And then they'll do a background check. So they do an FBI background check as well. And then that's all part of it. That can typically be a week or maybe 2 weeks before you kind of hear back. And you'll get a letter in the mail saying you've been approved, and they'll give you your official license number. That's when you're official, when you get that state license number. You'll also get an email with that information. So you get an email, you typically will, and you also get a letter in the mail with that information. That means you are official. There's no holding you back now. Okay. So you get your license in the mail. And now we're able to start training you on the actual business side of things, how to make the phone calls, how to talk to the clients, how to answer their questions, how to fill out applications, all that stuff. So you got to think though, if you pass your test on Monday, but your license isn't going to come in the mail for a week or two, then we're going to have some time to get ready for what's next, which is going to be training class. So in order to get ready for training class, you pretty much have to have like two things. You have to have a license and you have to have the script memorized. So we'll give you the script and get that into your hands as soon as you pass your test. So pretty much if you pass on Monday, we can email you over, boom, email you the script so you can have that. And then you can start practicing that, memorizing that. And then while your license is coming in the mail, we're just going to be practicing that. It does take about 40 hours of practicing and memorization to really get it down the way you need to get it down. You want to have it down to where you memorize what to say, but not necessarily how to say it. We're going to teach you how to position things, when you may need to slow down, when you need to maybe smile, crack a joke a little bit more, when we need to be a little bit more serious, when you might need to pull something up on the screen, when you want to have the camera on you, when you want to have it on the screen. There's all those little nuances and stuff that we're going to teach you how to do it. All we need to do when you come into training is have a license and just know what to say, and then we'll teach you how to say it. That's the best way I could kind of describe it. Someone told it to me, they said, could you imagine if you had to go do the Star Spangled Banner and you're at the Super Bowl and you missed like 3 words? Even if you miss 1 word, the whole entire country is going to notice. So you want to memorize this thing kind of like the Star Spangled Banner. You want to get it down like verbatim 100%. Okay. But that's going to be your ticket, and you get in the training class, you're ready to go. Then we're going to be able to start training with you, working with you. And training class it's a 2-week classroom setup where each afternoon from like 1 till 3, 1 to 4, we'll actually spend time with you, teaching you guys the basics. All the fundamentals where you can take notes, fill up your notebooks a little bit in that session. In the mornings is when you're going to do practice. And in the evenings is when you're actually going to go out there and participate in live presentations. And you'll learn 3 different ways. You're going to learn practicing, right? So you definitely want to make all your mistakes, practicing with each other than with the clients. You're going to make mistakes with clients too. But we want to get all the practice done in the morning so that when you go out there in the evening, you already got all the kinks out. And whatever we practice in the morning, like for instance, if it's your first day, then we're not going to have you doing the whole presentation. We're just going to have you maybe do the first 10%, just the beginning part. So in the morning, we're going to practice that all morning, just the beginning. How you're going to open up, get on the Zoom call, how you're going to pull it up, practicing it. So it's by nighttime, when we go see a real client, well, now you're comfortable enough. And as your manager, I'm comfortable having you do it because I just seen you do it 10 times this morning, so I know you can do 10% of the presentation tonight. So tonight you do about 10% of that presentation, and then maybe I'll pick up the other 90%, but you can see how it's all done. Then the next day, then maybe we have you do 25% of the presentation, practicing it all morning. In the afternoon, you're in class and we're going over similar information. And then in the evenings is when you're going to probably learn the most is that hands-on experience in front of the clients. Okay. Is it going to be comfortable for you? Not at all. Not at all. It's completely different than anything we've ever done before. Okay. So you're going to have to just be okay. You're going to have to, what they told me is they say, you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's kind of what you got to do. So I'm like, all right, I could, deal with that. And then eventually after you give about 100 of the presentations in front of clients, that's when you're going to feel 100% comfortable. So you have to know right now, just sign up for it. Just sign up, accept it, that it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to feel not confident. I've never done, if you're not going to feel confident, you're not going to feel comfortable. But I'll tell you, every time you do a presentation, you're going to gain more confidence and you're going to gain more comfortability with this. You know, I like to say if you do about 5 presentations, you're going to feel about 5% comfortable, but you're going to feel 95% uncomfortable. When you do about 20 presentations, now you're going to feel 20% confident, but you're still going to feel about 80% like, I'm not very confident in this. Well, just remember, you're only at 20 right now. We have to give 100 presentations in front of clients before we get there. That's going to take the average person 2 to 3 months. So you got to think the first 2 weeks is just training. 2 to 3 weeks is just training. And then out of that training, now I'm prepared enough to go start presenting to clients. So now it's the first 2 to 3 months where I have to give 100 presentations. At that point, that's when your career starts. You know, your career doesn't start until you've given 100 presentations. Everything up until that is pre-season. It's training. It's hands-on training. It's practice. So, you know, I want to mentally just prepare, you know, for that. But what's nice is if you do it the right way and you give 100 presentations, you'll end up making 30 sales. On average, is we're closing 1 out of 3. We're closing more than that, but 1 out of 3 if you're selling 100 presentations, you'll make 30 sales. And out of them 30 sales, average is 800. So 30 times 800 is 24,000. So you end up making about $12,000, you know, over that, you know, 3-month time period there. And that's, you know, average. So a couple ways you can make more money in your first 3 months. If you guys want to know how to really make some good money. Okay. For your first 90 days in the business, if you actually bring someone in and they get hired, the company will give you $750 per person. So I started in July of 2008, and I just was super excited about the opportunity. I don't know if I was just naive or what, but I ended up bringing in like 10 people in July of 2008. And the bonus back in the day was 0. I just brought 10 people in because I was excited about the opportunity. And they told me it would help me get into leadership. So right now, if I would have done that, it would have been pretty great because I would have got $7,500, you know, because I brought 10 people in my first month. My second month, I brought 10 people in. My third month, I brought 10 people in. I'm like, geez, I would have probably made an extra 20 grand when I started if they would have had this bonus in place. But they didn't. That was 2008. So I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to let you know about it. It's 2021. I don't know how long they're going to keep this going on, but for your first 90 days, if you bring anybody into this company and they get hired, you're going to get $750 per person cash. That's without you making a sale or anything. So I would take advantage of that if I were you. Some suggestions. Go ahead. Question, Jess?
Yeah, for when you bring the people in, do they have to, for you to get the bonus, do they have to pass everything?
Yeah.
Or is it just great? Okay, all right. That's what
That is the little caveat. They do they have to get hired, but then they do have to get their license.
Yeah.
And they have to submit one piece of business. So as soon as they like turn in their first piece of business, that's what triggers you as an active agent. You know, so until you submit a piece of business, you're not considered an active agent. So yeah, you get, and as soon as that piece of business gets sent off, you'll get $750. Boom. And they do an ACH deposit. It's a pretty nice thing when you look in your account and you see that coming through. So anyway, suggestions on that would be, you know, a lot of people would do is they come up with their starting 10 or 20 or 30 people, 50, whatever you come up with. I wrote down 50 people that I knew when I started that I wanted to contact immediately to have them sit in and see what we do. Now, when I was started, guys, people had to drive to the office and meet with the state director, and the state director would do like a company overview, and there might be 10 or 20 people in the room, and he would go over the career in detail with everybody and teach them. For me, I had to get them to drive to the office for them to. Now, all you got to do is have them sit in our company overview virtually. So if you want to find your top 10, 20, 30 people, and then what you can do is just introduce them to the company by having them sit in on the company overview. And then from there, they can see what it's about. And if it's a good fit or not, they'll be able to tell, you know? So that would be my suggestion on that. You can also have your manager contact them and schedule them too. Like if you, hey, my good friend, John, he works down at the bank. He said he'd be interested in meeting with us, you know, can you, and then, you know, call your manager and see if they'll give him a call and talk to them before they go into the company overview. That could help you as well. But yeah, don't discriminate, I would say, because, you know, I've had people that I thought wouldn't do good in this business, but I didn't count them out. You know, I still brought them in. They end up coming and they did great. And then I had people that I thought would do great in the business. They end up coming in and not doing great. So like you can't really guess or choose or make that career decision for someone. I always say, just put it in front of them, let them make the decision for themselves. Right? Don't say, he's not going to be good. I don't want to waste their time. You never know. You never know. Okay. So I would encourage you while you're getting your license, while you're studying your script, and definitely, you know, within your first 90 days, like now would be the time to just get them in the door while you can maximize on that bonus. Because after 90 days, the bonus it doesn't go away, but it goes down to $250 per person. You know, so, you know, what would be great is if, you know, let's say, you know, Alec or Jess, they call you Jessica or Jess?
Jess.
Okay. Yeah. So Alec or Jess, you know, what would be great is if, you know, you start out in the business and let's say you're able to get 10 people in the door, you make an extra $7,500. That's going to just put you in a better state of mind, you know. You're going to be emotionally, you're going to feel better. Financially, you're going to feel better. And because of all of that, it's going to have an intangible effect on how you do your business. You're going to be moving more confident. You know, you're going to feel better. And hey, those are the precursors to success, you know. So it could put you in a good spot to where basically you're not out there trying to sell somebody and you're out there meeting with people and really serving them. Big difference. But and the clients can tell you, they can tell. Our clients are mostly blue collar, so they can smell a salesman from a mile away, right? They know when you're trying to sell them or if you're trying to serve. Well, if you're out there and you got the money signs in your eyes, you know, and you got what's called commission breath, you know, and they could smell that commission, right? Then they're gonna tell. But if you're fine, if you're good, if you're you know, comfortable, and you're gonna worry about serving their needs instead of serving your needs, right? And that's when the sales actually happen, is when you're there for the client. And that's when you provide the best service, you know, is when you're there to serve, right? So what we want to do is we want to make sure, though, when you give this service that you're not what? Nervous, right? So they say, you know, don't be nervous, give the people the service. You're not going to give a good service to a client if you're nervous. You got to be confident and you got to be sure what you're doing. Just like a doctor. Doctor ain't going to do good surgery if they're nervous, right? So, but the way the doctor's not nervous is not just because he has fake confidence. You can, I guess, fake confidence a little bit, but true confidence is come from being there and doing it. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Done that a million times. They say when Ben Roethlisberger, when Tom Brady is the fourth quarter, the team's down, there's a minute left, the announcer always goes, well, look at him. He looks like he's been here before. This guy's been here before. He looks confident. You know, so point is the reason you're going to give good service is because you're going to give 100 presentations, and you're not going to be nervous because you're going to be able to give the presentations and get the 100 presentations in, and that's going to allow you guys not to be nervous. So what I'll do is, if you guys can, I was going to pull up the just a quick statistics. So if you guys can just pay attention to this, and I'll get you off the screen here in one, but let's say 3 to 5 minutes, we can wrap up. All right. So this is straight from the company. Can you guys see that? Okay. Okay. So this is straight from the company, the compensation that they found average with the company. So if you're an agent, your first year average income is 62,000, second year 70, third year 90, fourth year though, I want you guys not even worried about year 1, year 2, and year 3. Okay. What you need to be focused on is graduating. And it takes 4 years to graduate. This is a career. Okay. And every year you hear, just like, I don't know, if you went to college and you played a sport, well, your freshman year, how good are you really going to be? How many people are starting on the football team or basketball team as freshmen? No, you got to pay your dues. You're the freshman. You don't know it all. You don't even know where half the buildings are on campus yet. Sophomore year, you feel a little bit better. Junior year, now everything's coming more clear. Senior year, remember senior year, guys? You're like the king. You're like the king on campus. Senior year, so you got to graduate. Okay, it takes 4 years. When you're here for 4 years, you will never make less than $100,000 for the rest of your life. The average person is making 121. And this is if you're an agent and you never get into leadership. An agent sets their schedule and sees and runs their schedule. An agent sets their appointments and sees their clients. What else does an agent do? Anybody know what else does an agent do? Nothing. Nothing. Who does the agent have to manage? Themselves. That's it. What else does the agent have to worry about? Nothing. So the agent just got to set a schedule and see their clients. That's what the agent does, right? You could work all day, all night if you want to. You could work 2 days a week and that's it. There's these 2 girls that are in California that they like to surf. And if they go surfing on the weekends, the beach is packed. So they only surf during the week and they work on the weekends. They'll work on the weekends and see clients all day on the weekends, and then they'll go surfing all week because they like to surf and there's nobody there on Tuesdays. They get the whole beach to themselves. So that's the story in California, the surfer girls. But 8 to 10 years now, 200 grand. So now you're a doctor in the business. Takes about 8 years to get a doctorate or so. You know, there you go. You're looking at 200. And then you're here for that magic 10-year mark. You're here 11 years plus. I mean, you're looking at almost $400,000 is the average agent is earning. I mean, what would that do for your family when you're earning $200,000 a year? What's that going to do for your family?
It's going to change our life.
I agree.
I said, how can I get there as quick as possible? You know, it was really exciting. And to see these average numbers, I knew that, hey, I'm not going to be average. I'm not going to work average. I'm not going to have an average work ethic. You know, I knew it. But even if the worst case scenario, if I end up just being average, these weren't bad numbers, right? But let's say you guys decide to get into leadership and management, okay? The numbers, as this is just an agent. When you get in leadership and management, remember now who you're responsible for. Yourself plus a whole bunch of other people, you know. So, you're not going to be able to be as selfish. You're going to have to be selfless. A leader in our business is a servant leader, right? So it can take to get from an agent to a supervisor 3 to 6 months, to get from a supervisor to a manager, a general agent, 3 to 6 to 12 months, and to become a master general agent would take 12 to 18 months. Okay. It took me exactly 9 months to become a master general agent. From there, you could go to a regional general agent and a state general agent. The compensation when you get into leadership, okay, the average leader in their first year of leadership earns almost $90,000. In their second year of leadership, $100,000. Third year, $150,000. 4 years, $200,000. And then 8 years to 10 years, $387,000. And 11 to 15, $650,000. So guys, I started in 2008. In the year of 2009 was my first year in leadership, full calendar year in leadership. I earned $120,000. In 2010, I was a general manager at this point. So I built up from half of 2008 and all of 2009. I built up and worked and grinded. Put the grind in, definitely. You're starting a business, right? So every extra second that I had, I put back into the business. Every extra penny that I made, I found a way to try and put it back into my business, whether it was buying a suit for myself because I didn't want to dress like a bum, to investing into a good cell phone, investing into tires for my car, or whatever the money if I had money, I found a way to invest it back into my business. If I had an extra minute, I found a way to invest it back into my business. Some people get it twisted, and in their first few years, they'll get some extra time and they'll take a vacation with it. They'll get some extra money and they'll go buy a vacation with it. That's typically not what you want to do in your first few years of building your business. Well, I didn't. So what happened for me is my team grew, and it grew fast. So in 2009 was my first full year, guys, and I made 120, right? In 2010 was my second full year. I made $210,000. My dad worked his whole life. He still never made that. Still to this day, 60-some years old. 2 years with this company. I submitted to the process. I committed to the process. I basically just gave myself to the process. I was pliable. I came in like a ball of clay. Mold me, make me whatever you want, So that's how it worked for me. In my third year, I became a regional director. And in my third year, which was 2011, made $512,000. Look at the numbers on the screen, guys. What's the average person with this company make in leadership in their third year? 156, right? I made 512. In my fourth year, was 2012, was my fourth year with this company. I made $937,000. I just asked you, when you make $200,000, what's that going to do for your family, right? Can you stop and think for a second? You're going to stretch your mind right now, but you got to think about it. I want you to imagine this, okay? What would 900,000 do? Do you know how much money that is on a weekly basis that they put into my bank account that year? On every single week, every week that went by, the average income that they deposited into my account was $18,000. Some weeks were 27, some weeks were 12. Some weeks might have been 2, some weeks might have been 42 that year. You got to be okay with that in this business as well, just so you guys know. Okay, it's never going to be the same. All right, but at the end, it's going to average out to these numbers, what you're seeing on the screen here. Like, how in your 3rd year you made 150 grand, right? Well, 150 grand, you know, that's about 12, 13,000 a month, 12 and a half. But you're not going to make 12,000 a month. You average 12,000 a month, but one month you might have made 2. The next month you might have made 8. The next month you might have made 15. Then you made 22. Then you made 12. Then you made 18. Then you made 4. But you got to be okay with the business. That's just the way it's going to be. You keep going though. You keep going. You keep going. You keep growing. And it all is. It's not an if, but it's a when this happens. But that's what I'm trying to say is, you know, like. My 4th year, that's what happened to me and my family. And then from that point forward, we never made less than $1 million a year from this company. Right now, if I never go to work again, they're going to pay me $22,000 a month. I get $22,000 a month right now with this company before I go to work. So remember how you wanted a guaranteed paycheck as well? Everybody. You build your own guaranteed paycheck for yourself. You don't have to go ask somebody 10 years from now, hey, can you hire me and pay me $6 grand a month? You know, 10 years from now, you're like, I get myself 16 grand a month before I even wake up. And you know how I get it? Because I already did the work. I did the work. It's already done. So that's what's cool too. So what I'm saying is the average person is making 200 after 4 years. And that's a great place to be. Right? But if you pour yourself into something and you're ready to give up who you are for who you want to become, because you got to give up to go up, right? You have to grow up to go up. So we can't be doing childish things, and we can't be being the same person we are today 2 years from now. 4 years from now, the person that makes 200,000 is not the same person that's on the call today. You know, for me, I sure hope I'm not the same person 2 years from now. I sure hope I'm not. Hopefully I've grown to become better, you know, bigger and better somehow. So, but what did I say? It's going to be about the people that you meet. The person you are 5 years from now is going to be what? Based upon the people that you meet and the books that you read, right? And the experiences that you have as a result of decisions that you've made. 5 years from now, you're going to be a combination of that. 5 years from now, you're going to be a combination of the people that you meet, of the books that you read, and of the experiences that you have as a result of the decisions that you've made. So you want to make sure that you're getting around good people. You're spending time with millionaires. Like sometimes if you hear millionaires talk, some of the stuff they say might not make sense to you. It might sound wacky, right? But that's how that's why you want to listen to them. You're trying to get that stuff that nobody else knows, that nobody else thinks, that nobody else hears, you know? So, and you can see, you know, I've been doing this now for 13 years. I'm set up forever, you know? Believe me, I don't need to do this, okay? I get to do this. I want to do this, you know? And if this company can change your family's life, I see your daughter over there, man. If we can change your family's life, okay, that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. It's not going to be easy. These numbers on the screen, it's easy to put $200,000 on a sheet of paper. Watch how easy it is. I could take a pen, boom. How easy was that? It's easy to write it down, right? It's easy for us to talk about it. What's not going to be easy is going through all the personal changes and the challenges and everything that it takes to be successful and great. Okay. But I've been through it all. And whatever the heck you're going through and whatever the heck you're going to go through, there's people that are in this business and with this company that have been through it and came out the other side bigger, better than beforehand, you know? So the last thing, guys, is the residual income. Is I want you to see what the averages are, okay? If you are average, okay? And you're just here 4 years from now, 4 to 7 years, you'll be making $48,000 a year before you even go to work. Stop and think for a second. What does your friend have to do to make $48,000 this year? Your friend has to get up at 6, has to leave at 7, has to be at work at 8, and can't leave until 4 or 5 o'clock and doesn't get home till 6. Last time I checked, that's an hour to get there, an hour to get home, plus 8 hours of work. And if they get unpaid lunch, then they have to take another half hour to an hour and go eat real quick. So that turns into an 11 hours that they leave the house and they get home 11 hours later, right? And they have to do that 5 days a week. That's 55 hours, right? 50 to 55 hours a week consumed by somebody else controlling you, telling you where you need to be, when you need to be there, and what you're worth. You're worth $16 an hour. Oh, you want to go on vacation? No, we don't have any vacation days for you. I mean, that's serious stuff, right? Guess what? You know what you're going to do? Nothing. You're going to see this person's going to work 55 hours a week, which is well over 2,200 hours a year. They're going to work over 2,200 hours a year through a whole entire 2,000 hours. And you're going to literally just be waking up, making some eggs, going for a jog, walking your dog, taking your grandma for breakfast, planning vacations. And the guy's going to still be like driving home from work all stressed out, arguing with his wife because she gave him a bologna sandwich for lunch today. You and your spouse or whoever you're with, you're going to go to lunch and you don't have to worry about anything. Someone to make $48,000. Gio, do you know Gio? Gio's in our agency, guys. He makes $48,000 a year without doing shit. Literally, he could sleep for a year. Don't put $48,000 in. For somebody else, they're gonna have to work their ass off. You know why? But you know why you're gonna get that? Because you're gonna work your ass off for the next 4 to 7 years, and look what your residual income is gonna be. And they're gonna go like this. Oh, it must be nice. Do you know how many people tell me it must be nice? You get $22,000 a month. Must be nice. You know, that's what you call a hater. Right? They're not a congratulator. You say you want to be a congratulator. You don't want to be a hater. But check this out. 8 to 10 years, 82 grand. And hey, we just stick it out. Now it's just fun money. Now I'm here 10 years. I'm just going to hang around and just keep building my residual income. Now, why not just keep stacking it up? You could retire after 10 years and take what home? The average would be 82 grand. And you just retire. You're done. 82 grand. That's not bad. That's like seven grand a month or something like that. Right? Or you keep grinding, keep working. And if you're average, it goes up. You can see 130. Now you're getting 10 grand a month. You stick with it. Like for myself, this is 11 to 15 years. The average is 130. After 12 years, I'm at 22 a month, which is 264,000, right? Yeah. So I make 264 a year for doing nothing. That's crazy. Okay. All right. So that's everything I wanted to go over. I apologize. I went over on time. Sometimes I just got so much. I want to kind of make sure I give it all to us, but I want to keep us on track, keep us focused on the basics. But figured this information was out. It is available. I wanted to get it into your hands so you guys can see what the average people are doing, with the company. So if you get your health insurance paid for as well. Every 3 months, you can qualify for having your health insurance paid for as long as you're active and you're working with the company. At the end of the year, they will send you and a spouse on an all expenses paid trip. My dad went to the first one and he hasn't missed one since. He literally said that he's never seen anything like this in his life. He's like, companies do this? Yeah. You're going to be treated like a rock star, 5-star treatment the whole way. Okay. If you guys hurry up right now and get your license and get in the door, if you get some personal recruits, it'll help you do this. You know, if you come in and blow it up, come in and blow it up. Okay. Make some noise, okay. You know, what do they say? Shoot first, ask questions later. Go for it. Just go for it. This is, you know, you only live once, right? You only live once. This is a business, and people all around the world are making billions and millions of dollars doing all kind of stuff. You know, come in here and let's go. You know, I coach football, and I have to tell the little kids, they're 6, 7, 8-year-old kids. I'm like, your job, I want you to go cause a ruckus in the backfield. You know, cause a ruckus, just to describe to them what their job is to do. So make some noise, guys, okay? But if you do that, if you shake some things up, okay, don't worry about anything. Don't even worry. Just go do it. You can qualify for convention next year, and we'll see. And you'll be going to Las Vegas, all expenses paid trip, and you'll be staying at the Caesar's Palace, and it is awesome. Company really hooks it up. So you and a guest will be in Las Vegas next year. And the reason I'm telling you guys this is because you have time and you can make a serious run at it. If this was out of your reaches, I wouldn't even dangle this in front of you right now. Okay. But whatever you do to get there will be worth it. It will be maybe the trip of a lifetime. It's awesome. Company takes care of you. You don't spend a dime, all food, all drinks, all taken care of, you know, unless you want to gamble, obviously that's on you. We give back though too. So, you know, when we do these trips, we're giving back at these trips. The one time we spent 3 hours building bikes. We do a conveyor where we line up and stuff bags and send them around. We did soap. We sent soap around the world, did all kinds of different stuff. So, you know, we were always hands-on involved, not just with the money, but with, you know, with our time. So I'll let you guys go for today. Let's get excited, guys. A couple things, narrow focus, get your license and get some personal recruits in the door, so you can start getting some momentum going for yourself, okay? And change some people's lives with this opportunity, okay? Let me know if you let your managers know if you need anything at all. You just call us up. Hop on the agency meeting on Mondays at 11 o'clock too, if you can. Every Monday at 11, we have a big agency meeting. So I'd love to see you guys on there if you can. All righty. All right, guys, have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Great. Thank you so much for everything.
You got it, guys.